afternoon it is. My name is Connor Laria. I'm a project executive with Coastline Construction. We are extremely happy and excited to present to you our proposal for the LHPS Center of Innovation and Academics. With me today, I have Danielle Molesky, the project manager for the project, Todd Lavish, the superintendent for the project, and Noah Jumper, your safety manager. Some past experience that we've completed, we just recently completed the Gulliver Prep Center for Student Life. This was a $40 million project. We worked on an active campus. This was also in Florida, so very similar to our current project, the LHPS Center for Innovation and Academics. I got the pleasure to work on that project with Danielle and Todd.
We also recently completed the Children's Hospital, which was a $225 million project. We had the opportunity to install some curtain walls and metal panels similar to that of the LHPS Center that we will be installing for you guys. Noah and Todd had the opportunity to work together on that project. We also completed the 111 Olive Avenue project, which presented very minimal site laydown and was up against an active neighboring building, similar to that of the center we will be providing for you. I had the pleasure of working with Connor on that project.
So in preparing the estimate for this project, we utilized our past experience, historical data, and our strong relationships with subcontractors in the Orlando area. We've estimated this project to be $24,736,560. This roughly equates to $353 a square foot. We've also listed some major scopes of work up on the screen. Some notable ones are superstructure coming in at about $2.9 million and our exterior enclosure at $4.7 million.
So for the construction schedule for the Center for Innovation and Academics, we're looking at 1 year, 6 months, and 28 days. We're going to start off notice to proceed on 4/17/23. Shortly after, we're going to start mobilizing on site on 5/2/23. Foundations will be completed on 8/1/23. Then we will be completing the superstructure by 10/11/23. Then we're going to be drying the building, which is important for all of our interior finishes to start. That will be done on 12/13/23. The building will be substantially complete on 6/3/24. Then we will be moving into our abatement and demo phase of the project. Abatement should be complete on 9/3/24, and demo will finish up on 9/17/2024. The entire project will be finished on December 6th, 2024.
So from the very beginning, CCI will be working with Lake Highland and the design team to establish expectations, what forms of communication work best for the entire team. We will be holding meetings throughout the duration of the project to include or to discuss topics such as upcoming scopes of work, schedule reviews, and all those will be discussed with the entire team on the project. We will also be discussing the activities that are important, especially to Lake Highland, just because we are understanding that we are entering into an active community where there's activities that are constantly going to be worked in and around for your guys' schedule. In the beginning of the project, we would like to have a meeting with all parties to discuss long lead items and an early procurement process to make sure that there's no potential schedule delays due to the procurement issues that this industry is facing. There will be daily site walkthroughs, progress checks, and quality control assurance throughout the duration of the project. There will be daily logs and reports compiled and shared with Lake Highland to make sure that there is open and clear communication about the progress of the project.
All right, for the initial and substructure plan of the project, we have very minimal site access, so our field office is going to be located on Pasadena Place. It's a very short walk from the Lake Highland campus. Once we start our foundations, we're going to be progressing them from east to west across the site, and simultaneously we will be erecting the stair towers.
CCI will be utilizing fire-rated gypsum board on the Johnson and Hale Hall for protection of the windows. We'll also be working with the owner to recreate an evacuation plan of those two halls. We'll also be utilizing a noise monitoring device. As this is an active campus, we want to limit the amount of noise during construction for school events and other things. We'll also be utilizing a privacy fence around the perimeter of the site, and we'll be using EarthCam which is a 24-hour site security as well, can be utilized as a progress report for the owner.
So during construction and into the superstructure, we'll be self-performing 5% of the work. This self-performance will include interior and exterior partitions, gypsum board, and insulation. Throughout the project, our self-perform division will team up with Rugged Robotics. Rugged Robotics provides robots to robotically lay out our interior and exterior partitions. It can also lay out door swings. It can lay out MEP rough-ins. It can do a lot more in a very quality controlled manner and quicker, of course. So we plan on using the robot as well as topping out. This allows us to top out our walls with exterior rated gypsum board prior to dry-in, which will further reduce the need for rework in the future, which commonly occurs when MEP roughing comes in. We can get that done early on.
All right, for the superstructure of the building, there's going to be a very minimal site laydown. So CCI will be utilizing our off-site yard. All materials will be delivered there. Then as we need them out on site, we'll bring them the day we install them. For steel erection, we'll be starting working through the floors, and elevated slab concrete will be following shortly after.
Using a crane, we want to make sure we're having a safe swing paths for the crane, so we don't want to have the crane swinging over any of the nearby buildings, as well as any of the sidewalks that the students will be walking on, and also making sure no employees are under any live loads. We'll also be utilizing our 3-color flagging system for all work areas above or below, and we want to make sure all employees are 100% tied off when working at heights.
All right, now moving to the exterior skin of the building. CCI is leaving out a portion of the skin for transporting the AHUs into the building. That is due to the long lead time. We're expecting them to arrive after the skin is already up. Once they're in and installed, we'll reinstall the siding there. Exterior installation will be completed with a Magni crane, which is a 360-degree telehandler. It uses multiple attachments and works with a variety of different materials.
We want to make sure all of our employees are situational aware of the Magni crane when installing the exterior skin, as the Magni crane will be working its way around the building, installing the exterior skin. We will be utilizing daily huddles to go over where the Magni crane will be at for that day and what it will be installing.
All right, now as we move into abatement and demolition, so we're going to have to relocate the traffic plan of Lake Highland Preparatory School. Rather than traffic entering in on Highland Avenue, now students, faculty, and parents will be entering in on East Mark Street. This is just to maintain safety for the campus community. We will begin abatement in Hale Hall, then move over to Johnson Hall as demolition will progress the same way, Hale Hall, then Johnson Hall.
For the abatement process, we want to make sure all employees are following proper procedures, and this includes proper PPE, as well as wetting the area, as well as double bagging any material that needs to be removed. We'll also be using a wooden fence behind Hale and Johnson Hall for better protection for the students as well as the new building.
So with that, we just want to thank you again for having us the opportunity to present to you our proposal for the Lake Highland Preparatory School Building for Innovation and Academics. At this time, we'd love to take any questions that you might have.
We really appreciate your team's presentation and your interest in our project. And I just want to start off our Q&A section here with the selection board with just giving you an opportunity to summarize from your presentation today. What do you think is the key differentiator for why Coastline Construction versus the other firms that we're interviewing?
Yeah, so I think you guys can add to it if you'd like, but I think Coastline, we were founded in 1984 in St. Augustine, Florida, so we're just a short drive away. We have the ability to have off-site yards because we're so close, but we've also expanded into many markets, and we've been working on many projects in the state of Florida just like this. Our partnership with Rugged Robotics We bring innovative technologies. We want to be a leader in safety. We've partnered with OSHA's VPP program as well to be just that extra mile in safety and lead the industry in everything that we do.
Yeah, I'd say additionally, a big focus here at Coastline is campus safety on this project. We definitely want to make sure, all the students, especially because they're going to be in building, just 8 feet away from our new proposed structure. We just want to make sure they're completely safe at all points throughout the construction process.
Can you tell me a little bit about the size and type of crane you guys selected and the logic behind that selection?
That's how we like to talk about that.
Yeah, so the crane, based off the loads of the largest beams we have, we're pretty confident that it'll be able to make all the picks, and additionally the boom selected will be able to reach to the rear of the building.
So we're a pretty savvy owner. We've built a couple of things on this campus, and given the schedule that you've provided here, your main electrical switchgear has a 72-week lead time based on our research that we've done. That doesn't give you a whole lot of time in case there's a manufacturing issue. So what is your plan to A, mitigate that risk, and B, if you can't get it, are we just gonna have a shell of a building that we can't use? What's your plan there?
So we like to work very closely with our manufacturers and those people that we work with. So we actually have representatives from Coastline that track progress, and they go out and make sure that periodically the manufacturing of these products, especially our switchgears and things that we know and understand in today's day and age are make or break for a building, are being taken care of and are done the right way, so that there is no, to mitigate the risk of that not happen, to make sure that it's there on time.
Yeah, I'd also like to add on, very early on in the project, CCI will be working with the owner, design team, and engineers, to get the submittal process done quickly so we can have those, switchgear equipment on order as soon as possible.
I have a question regarding schedule. You show 41 days for pre-construction. Do you feel that's enough time to do a value engineering effort and a constructability and provide a finalized estimate for us?
Yeah, based off the manpower we have allocated for that phase, CCI feels like we'll be able to complete that on time based off of our historical data.
Perfect.
Can you speak to any considerations you've made in terms of cost escalation? Any conversations you've had with key trade partners on holding their costs and ensuring that you're committed to your contract value?
Yeah, so like I said, we were founded in St. Augustine, and we quickly moved into the Orlando area. So we've had a very strong relationship with our subcontractors from the very start. We've worked on many projects with them, and we only select subcontractors that we are confident in, are qualified, and we have good relationships with. And so we've talked to those subcontractors on past projects, and we have them working on current projects that we're working on, and we're confident that they'll hold their prices for us. And we can deliver the project within the budget that we've established.
I got a question for you guys. As you guys are putting your proposal together, were you guys able to identify any value engineering opportunities that can provide cost savings back to the owner? And if so, what are those?
Yeah, so I'd say prefabricating certain items such as electrical systems, light fixtures will allow us to install the same product at a cheaper price, and it'll also increase I'd say decrease the schedule.
Mm-hmm. And also by working with the owner early in those phases, that's a topic that we can bring up as early as possible and present to you our opportunities, and actually go through that and see what you as the owner is comfortable switching out and what you'd like to stay.
So in your pre-manufacturing, it's actually very interesting. So are those pre-manufactured assemblies going to be UL listed? And how can you certify, or who are you working with to ensure that those can actually be installed in our building and work correctly with the systems that are engineered?
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. So you're pre-manufacturing things,
Yep.
right? Most pre-manufactured switchgear assemblies, mechanical equipment are UL listed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it means they've been tested and certified to function in the manner in which they are supposed to. So if you're taking it upon yourself to pre-manufacture, let's say, electrical systems, conduit racks, whatever that may be, are those going to be UL listed, or are you working with some outside source to certify that they are actually safe, compliant, follow NFPA 70 as far as electrical or any other systems that they need to attach to, so that we know we're getting a safe, functioning system in our building?
Yeah, so the process that we've done on past projects, we've worked with those manufacturers before. So they are independently or third-party verifying those products. And it typically will come in by room. We use QR codes to make sure that they're in the right location. And we're able to verify that these are the correct pieces of equipment and materials for the job.
Yeah, then prior to them being delivered on site, CCI will verify that they meet all the UL listings as required.
Question here. Your construction phase includes a project executive, equipment tech, scheduler, BIM manager, and MEP/FP manager. Are these positions absolutely necessary during the whole construction phase, or is this negotiable so we can have some cost savings there?
These people are working on a project not as much as obviously our full-time and construction phase employees. They're just there on the front end. They'll be working with us, and their time spent will be as needed. So what we've put in there is what we, on past projects, have seen how much time they typically spend. And if they need to spend less time, then that money can be allocated elsewhere, or we can negotiate at the end of the job any savings.
And another question here. Your quality awards program has 2 individuals getting a Visa gift card every other week. Is the cost for this Visa gift card being, where is this money coming from? Is it the owner, or is this something that's included in your GCs?
This is included in our GCs. We've found on past projects that implementing a quality control or a quality award program such as this has benefited us greatly. We've gotten great buy-in from the subcontractors, and that's ultimately what we want to do on this project as well.
Yeah, ultimately, it just overall improves safety on the job site, which we feel is very important.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of your presentation, you had some really good project case studies. Can you talk a little bit about some of the lessons learned from those projects and how you're going to apply them to this job?
Yeah, so certainly with the first one, the Gulliver Prep Center, working on an active campus, we're going to have students that are walking by daily. Obviously, we're going to have deliveries coming in and out. And so it really is communication with the owner, working with your schedule. If there's a big test going on in a building, such as Hale or Johnson Hall, we want to be aware of that. If there's going to be a football game, obviously we're not bringing a crane in during a football game. So we learned from that project, communication is key, and that's something we follow through with all the jobs. I think Danielle can talk about some of the others.
Some of the key things we took away from both of our other past projects was logistics. So understanding what you have to work with, the area you have to work with, and the community that you're entering. So we are entering someone else's world. We're building in someone else's space. So making sure that we are aware of our surroundings and then doing things in the safest and easiest way possible. And then also understanding the materials that are going in and understanding those needs that those materials have and to have proper installation.
Hi. From a constructability standpoint, what is your firm's biggest challenge or risk building the project, and what are you guys going to do to manage that risk?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest things we looked at is how close we are to those existing buildings. Putting those curtain wall and storefront sections in that gap, and we only have about an 8 to 10 foot gap. It shows on the plans. So we've chosen the Magni crane because of its ability to reach farther in such a small footprint. But we've also looked at different ways that we can install that curtain wall, such as the different equipment that we can use in different methods to install that. So of course, one of our biggest concerns is student safety and those working in the building, not disturbing them, as well as the campus. And so that would be one of our biggest challenges on this project.
Well done.
You had mentioned logistics, and following up on logistics, I noticed you were looking to the owner to provide parking off-site. Is that for just staff, or is that staff and craft?
asked the question in an RFI. You guys came back and told us that you would provide parking. We would be providing busing, so it would include craft and CCI.
And what do you think your peak manpower is going to be so I can make sure I've got enough parking covered for you?
Yeah, I'd say about maybe 40 tradesmen on site maximum.
And how many staff for you and your subs?
I'd say CCI will have around 5 people on site daily at any given time. And tradesmen from subcontractors and stuff, around 40.
Okay.
I have a question regarding your estimate. Your total value, estimated value, has a price per square foot of $337. Do you have a historical cost database, and is this reflective of what you see in your historical cost database?
Yep. So we keep track of all of the projects we've completed, their costs, what we estimated them, and what they ended up becoming, and then ways that we could have saved cost. And we've implemented all of those strategies in this, and we feel that this is a very competitive price for the market today. Of course, taking into consideration escalation and the market right now, we think it's a very competitive price.
Obviously, our milestone for students being in the building at the start of the school year is paramount. How have you taken into consideration weather delay or weather impact into your current schedule to the critical path, and how can you ensure that that won't be a factor in delaying our start of the year?
Yeah, I mean, based off our schedule, we're confident that we've allowed enough time for certain activities that if there's possible weather delays, that we'll be able to stay on track.
You have some electrical work that's going to cause you to have to shut down power in the existing school. What's your plan to really deal with the fact that that power may not come back on when you shut it off? And if you run into any issues, right? We're in Central Florida, so it gets hot. What are you going to do there?
So having that open communication and coordination with the project team and then everybody involved, just making sure that everyone's on the same page, having those meetings, coordinating that with Lake Highland and the design team and our workers, allows for us to plan it the best for everyone, to make sure that we are working in times when it's best for Lake Highland and everybody that will be there outside of the typical class and their project and their activities. And then just doing our best to do a quality control and making sure that those processes are being done to the best of our ability to make sure that the power does come back on, and having those conversations up front.
You mentioned having leave outs in your building for AHUs because of the lead time. Can you advise what the lead times are for the AHUs and what other long lead items you guys have built in your schedule right now?
I do not recall directly what the lead time is for the AHUs, but some of our other long lead time items would be the switchgear, steel we were looking at, then also some of the HVAC work like the VAVs, and a lot of the electrical components.
Based on your milestone schedule, it looks like you guys are going to be starting foundations in probably the worst time in Florida. So I didn't see anything in GCs for any kind of dewatering measures. Do you guys have any cost captured for that elsewhere in the estimate?
Yes, we have included dewatering measures within the cost estimate. So within the excavation, we have a dewatering line item included in that cost.
If that cost isn't used, does that go back to the owner?
That's something that we can look at the end of the job and have those conversations then.
Thank you.
How do you intend to involve the community in your plan to build this school? It is a K through 12 school. Kids are curious, parents are curious. They want to know where their money's going. The community wants to know where their money's going. Are you going to put an iron curtain around the building and say, "Don't come in until we're done," or what's your plan there?
So, I can start. Maybe you can add some. We've definitely thought of ways to incorporate it. This is a building for innovation and academics, and we're a company that loves innovation. Obviously, as you can see by our rugged robotics partnership, we'd love to get the students involved. Of course, topping out the building. It's a building on their campus. Having some sort of topping out party, incorporating the campus into that ceremony, and having a good time and making the construction fun for the campus and not just a nuisance that they have to look at. So.
Great. Well, thanks again for your presentation today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.